There's some hard times coming, folks. I had thought, reasoned, and believed it was only going to take 3.5 years to get through this. Things are about to be very, 1 minute and I'll take your hand. Things are about to be very complicated. They're already complicated. They're about to become more complicated by world conditions. They are complicated because most people don't have the desire, don't have the background, don't have the knowledge, are not willing to give the time, energy, effort, and madness, pure madness, to keep up with it all. I don't want to hear it anymore. I have people tell me that all the time. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of the end of the world. It never ends. It's going to end, guys. Write it down. It's going to end. Listen, we have some inspiration. Where did he go? Come up here, young man. We have some inspiration for a few minutes. And then I'm going to put things into your hands that you want. That you want. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to give you some things that cost money, which you paid for.
I like that part about young man.
Yes. Bill Eshe, I don't think he's a stranger to any of you. Or
good to see everybody again this year. It's good
what are you
to be
going to
alive.
share? What are you going to share with us? What are you going to share?
This is a little song, a new song, but I thought I'd quote a scripture first.
All right, let's quote it right here where it can be heard.
Actually, maybe two.
All right, not three now.
Who knoweth but that thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?
Yes.
And John 17:3, and this is life eternal, that they might know thee,
the only
true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the issue of the ages.
Did you put those together in one song?
Basically, worded a little differently, but
all right. All right.
But it's the issue of the ages, right?
Yes.
Worship him, like you were talking a little earlier, that made heaven and earth, the sea, and the fountains of waters. It's been the issue all through scriptures.
Yes. Yes.
This is a little song called I Pledge Allegiance. I think it's coming through the microphone there.
Yes, I got it right here.
I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. And I pray, dear Father, thy will be done. And I pray, oh Lord, thy kingdom come. And I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. Father, I'm so thankful for all you provide, for ministering spirits to comfort and to guide. And I see the cloven tongues in Hebrews chapter 1. I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. And I pray, dear Father, thy will be done. And I pray, oh Lord, thy kingdom come. And I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. I plant a crop of rye early in the fall. The early rain comes and my rye springs up small. When springtime comes, the latter rain makes my rye nice and tall. Thank you, Father, for the Holy Holy Spirit's and the world's last call. And I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. And I pray, dear Father, thy will be done. I pray, oh Lord, thy kingdom come. I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son.
If you picked up on it, would you sing it with me?
I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. I pray, dear Father, thy will be done. I pray, oh Lord, thy kingdom come. I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. Once more, I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. And I pray, dear Father, thy will be done. And I pray, oh Lord, thy kingdom come. And I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son. Yes, I pledge allegiance to the Father and the Son.
Amen. All right, young man, hear this, hear this. Clear your ears. We just got it on tape. We're going to send it all over the world. There you go. Yes, yes, indeed. I want to talk to you about money just a few moments longer, please. Then we'll take your money while it's still worth something. Ellen White has written a very beautiful paragraph. Money has great value, she says. Money has great value so long it is used for righteous purposes, for good purposes. God doesn't need money. God, like you and me, is caught in the middle of a human scenario. You and I are not living at all. We're not living. We're just holding on until Jesus gets here. We are wearing out time until time wears us out. Okay? The evidence that we're trying to convey in this discussion is that we are very, very, very near some precipice, some change, some turning. And once it happens, your ability and mine to make a living the way we do now or whatever, all of that is going to change. When Ellen White from 100 years ago said, soon the passage from place to place will be hedged with difficulties and dangers we do not now perceive. Was she talking about bandits on the highway? Or is she talking about no dough to even get on the highway? And the answer is yes. Yes. If we have major natural disasters in this country and we take a fifth of the population and a fifth of the wealth of this nation and crash it, you and I, there's not a person here who is not going to feel that, experience that in the negative. There is nothing positive about the things that we're being described. Nothing positive about it, except that we are, every day that passes, we are a day nearer the end. Now I want to do this, and then we're going to give you something. The book of Revelation opens with Jesus talking to John. You listening? He said, John, write all of this down. I am. I am. I am. That is a declaration of divinity, period. I am. I am is in the present tense. God exists all the time, anywhere, in the present tense. But when He created, can't get this on good chalk. When He created time. There is no time here. There will be time here because God is going to resurrect creation. Creation is not divine. It has a beginning and it can have an end. God has no beginning and no end. I'm the first and I'm the last. Now, anything in creation is dependent upon that realization, the truth of that statement. Anything that is created has a beginning and a possible end. That's not too difficult for us to swallow and comprehend. I'm the first and I'm the last. So here's the question. Let's see what you do with it. Which is most important? The first or the last?
Yes.
It's not a trick question. It's a trick answer, but it's not a trick question. Which is most important? The first or the last?
Equally.
Look. If you have a beginning, some of us were hatched, some of us were born. If you have a beginning, which is more important, the first or the last? The first. And what you hope and pray for is that the day will come when you will not have a what? Last. That's right. The creation in the garden was not supposed to end. God created it to go on. What He is promising all through the Bible from first to last is, you're having to get away from the tree, but I'm going to give it back to you. Well, a tree is a tree. No, a tree is not a tree. This is the tree of what? Life. So everything was beautiful. Everything was wonderful. Everything, God, even God Himself made the pronouncement, it was very good. God never willed for you and me in this creation to have an end. Life was to go on for how long? Forever. What is Jesus promising? If He puts His trust in me, though He were dead, I will raise Him up at the last day. What is God promising us? He's promising us time, never-ending time. That's what God intended, purposed, and willed. Sin got into the middle of all of this wonderful plan. Now, you and I would think that God could just step in and take care of business right now. That was the problem. That was the claim in heaven. God is going to step in. You watch. You just wait. You'll see. God's going to step in, and He's going to force His will on angels and men. He's going to cram it down your throat. This is why this sin business has taken so long. This is why. Because there must come a time when God says, time's up. It's up. It's going to be up because of natural disasters, because rocks in the heavens are going to come together, and you ain't going to be no more, I ain't going to be no more, and nothing on this rock is going to be any more alive. That's when Jesus comes, just before all life is extinguished on this rock. So, which is best? Which is preferred? The first or the last? The first, the first, the first, first. This is why it is recorded. Blessed is he that hath part in the first resurrection. Over him, the second death has no authority, no power, no claim. You and I are not out from under that dark cloud yet. We have promises. The promises have been going on for thousands of years. What you and I want is for the promises to get out of the way and reality to set in. That's what we want. But it's painful. Just one more. One day his servant said, we thought you planted good seed in your garden. I did. Well, where did all these weeds come from? An enemy has done this. Well, his servant said, we're going and pull all the weeds up. And he said, what? No, you're not. Who do you think? What is he talking about? If I ran my garden the way God runs his, I wouldn't get a thing to eat. Some of you understand what I'm talking about. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about. His servants had good common sense, and they said, we're going to pull the weeds up. Give the good stuff a chance. No, you're not. You're going to let the weeds grow how long? Until the what? Until the what? The harvest. And if you read the next couple of verses, his disciples were talking among themselves, and they said, well, what is he talking about? So Jesus said, I hear you questioning among yourselves, what is the harvest? The harvest is the what? And then there will be a separation between weeds and grain, wheat and tares, goats and sheep. There's going to be a separation. What I've been trying to say here in half the day is that the world with you and me on it and in it are about to enter the last chapter, the last verse, the last act in the sanctuary is the blotting out of your sins and mine. And if they are not blotted out, there's no one in business on the other side to save us. This should be sobering reality. Just this visual alone should set your mind spinning. This is the end of the world. All my plans are not going to work. This is why Ellen White says over and over and over again, when these times come, your only help, your only defense is to inquire of God for duty, and He will show you what to do. But you must be earnest about it. You must be earnest about it. Lord, I'd like to have this and I'd like to do that. But Lord, I just want to say again, you work it out the way you want to work it out. Right? Right. So let's talk to Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he, that's Nebuchadnezzar, walked in the place of the kingdom of Babylon. The palace, not place. The king spake and said, is not this great Babylon that who built? That I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty. While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, and this is what the voice said. O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee or to you it is spoken. Does this sound like Belshazzar? The end of Nebuchadnezzar is Belshazzar. I'm trying to show you the story is told and it's told and it's told and it's told. We just never get the pieces together. O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee. That's exactly what was said to Belshazzar. Yeah. And they shall drive thee from men. Thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen. 7 times shall, do you know the 7 times is in here 4 times? They shall drive thee from men. Thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. You're going to turn to a donkey. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen. 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomsoever he will. Oh, I'd like to pin labels on that one. So many people thought on the night of the election it was going to go their way. But I'm going to give it to someone despised, rejected, someone never expected. That's what I do from my vantage up here. I giveth it to whomsoever I will. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar. He was driven from men. He ate grass like oxen. His body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers. Like what? And his nails like birds' claws. And at the end of the days, that's 12 months, plus 7 times. At the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes to heaven. That's a good thing to do. My understanding returned unto me, and I blessed the Most High. And I praised, listen to this. I praised and honored him that lives forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion. Do you know where that pronouncement is made? Daniel chapter 7, Daniel chapter 12, Revelation chapter 19. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, but it shall come to thee. Hasn't come yet. That's the last decision and choice to be made in the heavenly sanctuary. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, the wicked one, and give it to the people of the saints of the Most High. That's you and me. That's Jubilee. That's getting back what God gave us to begin with. Who bought it back? Who paid the price? Who continues to pay the price? And who has announced that when we get back what the devil stole from us, robbed us from, when we get it back, who's going to come and live with us? How can I get from here to heaven? I don't need to. Heaven's coming my way. You listening? His dominion is everlasting, his kingdom from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand or say unto him, what are you doing? At the same time my reason returned to me, and for the glory of my kingdom, mine honor and brightness returned to me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Oh, so Nebuchadnezzar is going to come back and get everything back again. You don't understand. The saints of the Most High come back and get everything back. That's the plan. And now, I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. There are things that you cannot put to words. You cannot. My life was being affected before I was in the womb of my mother. My life was being impacted by relatives who came before and who were God-fearing people. My mother was a Methodist for years. Then there was a change in location and she joined the Baptist church nearby. Years later, she would join the Adventist church. 1955. I would join in 1956. On my mother's side of the family, there were Methodists and there were Baptists and there were... On my father's side of the family, I come from a long line of Presbyterian preachers and evangelists. My great-grandfather was a Presbyterian evangelist, and he raised up 55 churches in North Alabama and North Georgia, riding horseback. His understanding of God was Presbyterian. When I was born, I had relatives who were putting genetic information into me. Are you listening? I was very fortunate. I was blessed because my forebears, for the most part, were God-fearers. They believed in God. They served God and wanted to serve God as best they understood. Now, I was born in 1942, 1 month after Pearl Harbor was bombed. I was born at one of the most exciting moments in history. And I came into the world kicking. My life was already impacted, even though I had no knowledge, no understanding. My life was already impacted and affected because people passed their genes along to me. So I was 1.5 or 2 years of age, and my grandmother called on a Sunday morning, and she said, Herschel, that was my dad, he evidently didn't have a religious bone in his body at the time. She said, Herschel, this is Sunday morning. Do you know what time it is, Herschel? This is Sunday morning.